Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Before that, have you ever had a hard time making a big decision? Whether you are choosing a new supplier for your company, buying a new house, or selecting the best candidate for a scholarship, balancing different factors can be very stressful. In the world of decision making, we use scientific methods to help us. They are called multi-criteria designs making methods, or MCDM for short. Today, we are going to look at the two most popular methods used by professionals and students all over the world. AHP, which stands for Analytics Hierarchy Process, and SAW, which stands for Simple Additive Weighting. So, in this short video, we will explain their basic concept, how to calculate them, their advantage and disadvantage, and exactly when to use each one. Let's get started. Okay, first, let's understand what these two methods actually are and how they differ in concept. Let's start with AHP, or Analytic Hierarchy Process. This method was created by a mathematician named Thomas Seati in 1977. Think of AHP as a structured family tree. It takes a big, complex decision and breaks it down into hierarchy. At the top of your goal, in the middle are your criteria, and at the bottom are your choices. The unique thing about HIP is that it does not ask you to score everything at once. Instead, it asks you to compare only two things at a time, which we call pairwise comparison. Now, let's look at SAW, or Simple Additive Weighting. It's also known as Weighted Sum Model. SAW is much more direct and straightforward. Imagine you have a scorecard or simple spreadsheet. For each choice, you give a score for every criteria, multiply those scores by assigned weight, and then add them up to find the highest total score. So, in short, AHP is about structure and comparing things in pairs, while SAW is about direct scoring and simple addition. Okay, now let's look how we calculate AHP. The calculation process was 5 main steps, and it involves some basic mathematician. Step 1 is to build the hierarchy tree. You must clearly define your main goal, your criteria, and your final alternative. Step 2 is the pairwise comparison. You compare every creation against every other creation, two at a time. To do this, you use Seati scale from 1 to 9. For example, if quality is extremely important to you compared to price, you might give it a score 7 or 9 maybe. If they are equally important, you give them 1. Step 3 is to normalize comparison metrics and calculate the priority weight. We do this by dividing each number in the column by the sum of that column, and then finding the average of each row. Step 4 is the most important part of AHP, the consistent check. Since humans make subjective decisions, we can easily make logical mistakes. For example, if you prefer A over B and B over C, you must prefer A over C. Nah, AHP uses a formula to calculate a consistency ratio. In this ratio is less than zero point 0.1 and your decisions are consistent and valid. If not, you must revise your judgment. And finally, step 5. We combine all the way to calculate the global priority scores and rank our options. And next, how do we calculate SAW? The calculation process for SAW is much faster and simpler. It also has 5 steps. Okay, step 1 is to list your evaluation criteria and define them as either a benefit or cost. A benefit creation means a higher score is better, like camera quality or engine speed. A cost creation means a lower score is better, like price or fuel consumption. And step 2 is to assign weight to each creation. These weights are usually determined by expert or decision maker, and all weights must add up to 1 or 100%. Step 3 is to build your decision matrix. You just fill in the actual raw data or scores for all your choice. And step 4 is to normalizations. This is very important step because different criteria use different units like dollar for price and gigabyte for memories. We cannot add them directly. And normalization scales our numbers to a value between 0 and 1. For the benefit criteria, we divide each score by the maximum score in the column. For cost criteria, we divide the minimum score in the column by each score. And the 5th step, we multiply each normalized score by its creation weight, sum them up for each alternative and rank them. The alternative with highest total score is our winner. Okay, now let's look at the pros and cons of both methods so you can see which one fits your situation. AHP has great advantage and it's excellent for handling subjective feelings and qualitative data like customer satisfaction or brand reputation, and because of the consistency check, you can be confident that your decisions are logical, free of big human error. However, AHP's biggest disadvantage is very time consuming. If you have many criteria and choice, you have to do hundred or pairwise comparison which can be exhausting and complex. And SAW is loved because it is incredibly simple and fast. You can set it up in Microsoft Excel sheet just a few minutes and it's very easy to explain to your boss or team. It also works perfectly even if you have a thousand of choice. But the disadvantage of SAW is that the weights are assigned directly. This means by are highly subjective and prone to bias. Also, because there's no consistency check, a mistake in your initial weight assignment can easily lead to wrong final decision. Okay, let's put them side by side to compare their aspect directly. First, the basis of decision making. AHP relies on the comparison between pairs, while SAW relies on simple weighted sum of scores. Second, the complexity. AHP has high complexity because of metric calculation and consistency check. SAW has low complexity because it's only use basic arithmetic. Third, weight derivation. In AHP, weight are calculated mathematically from your comparison. In SAW, weight are directly assigned by you based on your preference. And fourth, the consistent check. AHP built-in check to prevent logical error, while SAW works best with clear numeric and quantitative data. Okay, so when you actually use which methods. You should choose AHP for high-stake, complex, and strategic decisions where you need expert opinion and cannot afford to make a mistake. Great examples are strategic planning, evaluating major business vendors, technology investment, risk assessment, or research allocation in large organizations. On the other hand, you should choose SAW for everyday operational decision where you have clear numeric data and need to make a decision quickly. Good examples are selecting a consumer product like a phone or a laptop, ranking employee performance at the end of the year, choosing scholarship recipients based on the test score and scoring credit application for a bank. Okay. So, to sum up everything we have to learn today, here's the simple rule of thumb. If you have a complex problem, a lot of qualitative criteria, and need expert judgment with high accuracy, use AHP. And if you have a simple problem, mostly numeric data, and need fast, transparent result, use SAW. But here is a professional pro tip. You can actually combine both. Many smart decision makers use AHP first to calculate highly accurate and consistent weight for the criteria. Then, they plug those weights into SAW to quickly score and rank a large number of choices. This gives you the accuracy of AHP and the spread of SAW. Both AHP and SAW are highly powerful tools. The best choice is simply depends on your data and the complexity of your problem. So, thank you so much for watching. If you found this explanation helpful, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you on the next video.